Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Lisa Thompson here of drlisamthompson.com, coming to you from my home office outside Eden Prairie, Minnesota. And welcome to another edition of The Doctor is in Live. And today we're continuing our discussion about emails. And right now I'm going to address three common email marketing questions that I get asked a lot. And these were email marketing questions that I got the answers from seven-figure blogger Ray Higdon. And Ray was able to build a loyal following, not only on his blog, but he also built a list simultaneously where people hang on his every word. And I'm going to share with you those answers to the questions that he gave me. I'm going to give to you. And as we wait for people to come on, what I want you to do is click on the upper right-hand corner of your screen, which is the notification button. And what that notification button does is that Facebook will let you know when I'm going live. That way you and I can interact in real time. Now, I am always on at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, 1:30 Pacific. Now, this week, with it being the Thanksgiving holiday, I will not be doing a Doctor is in a live show on Thursday, Turkey Day. So with that said, we're only going to have a couple of sessions this week. So I hope everyone is excited about getting ready for the Thanksgiving holiday. Everywhere I'm going, people are getting more and more excited for kicking off the holiday season. And so what better way than to start building that email list? And there's a big reason. Hey, Judy, glad to have you on today's show. So when you come on in, tell me where you're coming from. That way I can give you a shout out. So what we talk about here is I want to talk about something really quick before we get into the three questions. And that is you need to understand about the buying cycle. All right. The peak buying time is from now until the end of January. And what most marketers do, especially, and I didn't know this until I learned this 3 years ago, is that a lot of marketers, what they'll do is they believe they're just going to take Thanksgiving and be off until New Year's. They're not going to do anything. Judy Freund's in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania. Awesome. And so people take this time off and they don't look at really crafting offers and working on building their list during this time. And you have to understand something about the buying cycle, is that people love to spend money in the holidays. And sometimes they're going to overspend. And so they're going to begin to panic, or they're going to overeat. They're going to overindulge in something, I'll tell you that. And then what happens is when they overindulge, then they're going to panic, and then they're going to spend more money to find a solution to either A, learn how to make more money, or B, they're going to learn what they need to do to lose weight. All right, so you can take advantage of it now by working on marketing strategies, building your list, creating sales funnels so that you can hit the ground running in 2017. I have seen many marketers explode their business during this holiday season, and they really focus on building and monetizing their email list. So let's go to these top three questions. Question number one. This question is, how often do I email my list? Do I email them every day? Do I email them a couple of times a day? Or do I email them just a couple times a week, once a month? What's the deal? Here's my best answer for you, and this is what I learned from Ray Higdon. You email them every day, and here is why, is that how often does your list, your market need help with something? It's every single day. I don't care what you're marketing, whether it is whether you're teaching online marketing, whether you're teaching network marketing, whether you are selling a weight loss product, or you are selling skincare, health and beauty, travel package, whatever it is, they're always going to need help with something every single day. And see, what Ray did is Ray created a blog post every single day. And whenever he created a new blog post. The first thing he did, the minute it was published, he sent it out to his email list. And that's what I do too, because when you're building your list, you're training them when to look for your emails. Okay, you are training them to look. There were a couple of times where I didn't, my list now knows that I email them every day, and there are some days where I'll email them more than once a day. And I tell them that when they get on my newsletter. I'll tell them, there are going to be times where I'm going to email you more during the day, and then there might be times where I'm only going to email you once a day. Okay, I tell them what to expect. And what happens is when you do that, okay, and you're emailing them every single day, they're going to be trained to look for your stuff. Okay, they're going to be trained to look for your emails. And I remember one day when I didn't have an email, I didn't send my email out at a certain time, I had people emailing me saying, when are you going to email me? I'm missing the content. Okay, that's when you know you've really got a good list going. You see, it's not the size of the list. You want to build a responsive email list. Now, some of you might be panicking thinking, well, Doc, I can't blog every single day. I'm not up at that point. What do you expect me to email them? Let me give you some of my best tips. Tip number one, you always want to send them your blog post when you do it. Okay, so if you're only publishing a blog post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, make sure you're emailing them Monday, Wednesday, Friday with your blog post. All right, and you send it at a specific time so the list knows. For me, I always schedule my emails to go out at 8 a.m. my time. Okay, that's really cool. And with your autoresponders, you can actually schedule the time when you want this to go. So I write my blog post the night before. I can take my email, I can upload it to my autoresponder to go out exactly at 8 a.m. So if you're not doing blog posts every single day, then what I suggest you do is you're going to go share some content, other content from leaders or from other people within your niche that are relevant to your market. So you can find these on LinkedIn. I love using Post Planner. All right. If you have the membership to Post Planner, what's really cool about that is that you can go in and they have a section, and like for me, they have it with business and social media. And I can go in there, and what I can do is I can find articles that are relevant to my niche, and I can send them to my email list. Okay, you can do that. You can find YouTube videos that are relevant to your market that you can send them. Are you into mindset? You can send them mindset YouTube videos, or send them to if you're a part of a daily wake-up call that's free to the public. In my affiliate company, we have a wake-up call that is on at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if there is a wake-up call that I found that was really powerful, that impacted me, I'm going to share that with my list because I know they would value that as well. So that's what we do here when you're sending out. Those are different ways that you can communicate every day to your list. You can also do, and this is very powerful that Ray taught, is the no link email. And what that is that you send no links to anything, not to lead capture pages, to training pages, to your blog post. You do this every once in a while. And there are a couple of ways of doing that. Number one, you can do one where it's called the How Can I Help You? All right. The How Can I Help You, where you can tell them, hey, thank you so much for being a subscriber to my list. I really appreciate you taking the time to read my emails and going to my blog. If there's anything that I can do to help you build your business forward, reply to this email and we can set up a time to talk. Okay, nothing to, where you're pitching them or anything. You're just wanting to help them. You'll be surprised when you do a can I help you email or a thank you email. People are going to respond back. The other type of email you can do is kind of like a love letter. This is something I learned from Diane Hockman, where you can talk about something where, let's say, for example, you are in the weight loss industry, all right, and you are selling a health shake. Well, instead of talking always about the health shake, you could maybe send them recipes of healthy eating. Saying, you know, when I started using this shake, it was just amazing, and I found this really great recipe I want to share with you. You can go with anything, even if it's not with your health shake, and you can give them that recipe. People love that, okay? You're giving them value. But when you're emailing your list, you always want to follow the 80-20 rule, okay? The 80-20 rule means 80% should be content, 20% promotional. Okay, so if you're sending out an email every single day, and let's talk about, we're just going to give a simple number of 10. For every 10 emails you send, 8 are going to be value, where you're going to give them something that's going to help them. And then 2 emails will be promotional based. Okay, so that is question number 1. Question number 2 is, should you do follow-up emails versus broadcast emails? Now, let me talk to you about what the difference is between these two. Follow-up emails are when you have a sequence of emails, okay, that go out where you're guiding people to make a decision on a product, or they're going to make a purchase. So I have a couple of funnels that deal directly with that. So if I'm having someone going into a very specific lead capture page training, I'm going to have a set of follow-up emails that are going to go to them. That I have one that's about 40 messages. I have another one that's about 10. And it depends on the product and the offer. And what you're doing is you're always talking with them with the intent to getting them to buy, okay? With those specific sales funnels, I do something like that. But with my personal newsletter, which I want everyone to get on, that is where I am going to do what's called a broadcast email. And that's when you set up your email, and you're going to send it out at a particular time. You can send it out immediately. It can go right to your list immediately, or you can set up certain times to do it. Okay, so what Ray recommends is doing more broadcast with your one personal list. Okay, and you can send them out at random times and that, so it feels more like a natural email that you would be sending to friends and family. So there are times for doing broadcast versus follow-up email. And you're going to find when you do follow-up emails, the longer the email follow-up sequence, the decrease, all right, the number of opens are going to decrease over time, because some people are not going to be that interested. But when you're doing a a broadcast, you're going to get a higher open rate. Now, the third question is, it's not so much of a question, it kind of ties in with number 1, and that is a big mistake that a lot of times marketers will make, is that they're going to follow certain gurus. And this is something that Ray said, is don't do what the gurus do, where you're going to get them on your list and then you don't talk to them again until the next product launch comes up. And and a lot of times when people do a product launch, or the big industry leaders in your space, they'll do like maybe 3 or 4 videos to set you up for the product launch, for what they're going to be offering you. And a lot of times, a lot of marketers will do that, and they don't really take time to building your list. Hey, Kitty, glad to have you on the show. And when you're working on your email list, okay, you have to treat it like a garden, all right? When you get them there, you have to fertilize that garden. You have to be giving it water. You have to cultivate it, where you're going to get people who unsubscribe. You're going to get people who, they're going to have what is called a bounce, where they give you a dummy email that is obviously fake, okay? And you have to go in and prune all those out. But what I've learned is that you don't need a list that is in the hundreds of thousands, okay? You can have a responsive list that will buy from you over and over again, just by having just a small amount. Now, I'm going to tell you, it took me, I learned how to build a list 3 years ago. And now that I've built this list, I'm starting to get people, when I make a product recommendation, they're buying from me. Okay, I don't have to do any convincing because they know that what I put out, they get value from. Okay, are you guys getting value from these email questions? These are very basic questions that a lot of people ask. And if you do have any other questions regarding emails, please put them in the comment section right now and I'll answer them for you before I get going here. But this is very important for building your list, okay? Because a lot of times people who view your blog posts are not necessarily always going to be on your list, okay? And you want your list to know when you're putting out a blog post, okay? Because now people are going to be coming to you and it's going to be excuse me, it's going to build that know, like, and trust factor. I mean, the ultimate goal is to get people on your list, all right? And you market to people on your list. So and now what you have to make sure is that you're offering products and services that you know your market will want. And I highly recommend anything you recommend should be something you're already using. And what happens then is you can create content around that. And you can show them how to use this tool. You can show them the benefits. You can walk through. You can do a review because now you're going to be seen as the authority. And when you've done that, people are going to really they're going to really love what you're doing. You're doing a great service for them. You're doing the research for them. Okay, I want to share with you one bonus email tip that will help you in a product launch, and that is do a frequently asked questions email. Okay, so when you're going through a course, if you have it, what would be the most common questions your market would have about this product, and do a frequently asked question. Get those questions answered. And typically you want to do a frequently asked questions when it's getting close to when the launch is ending. So if you know that it's in the final 48 hours, that's when you want to do that email. And I found that to be incredibly effective in getting more sales. Okay, I wound up last week actually, when Ray Higdon had his 3-minute, he relaunched the 3-minute expert. I did a frequently asked questions and I wound up getting some extra sales just from doing that type of email. And it will work for you. So with that said, I just want to give you a heads up. Speaking of Ray Higdon, his 3-minute expert, he relaunched or reopened the course on yesterday. And he's closing a hard close tonight at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So what you want to do, if you haven't picked up that course, I highly recommend that you do. Once you've picked up that course, all right, you want to go through it because he's going to walk you through everything. And he devotes over an hour worth of training on how to create and build a list using your blog. He's going to show even more awesome strategies that will help you do that. Now, if you don't get it tonight, he will release it in 2017, but he's increasing the price by $300. Okay, so you want to make sure if you want the course, just tell me 3-minute expert, put it in the comment section. I'll make sure you get that link. And Junie says, I send out a broadcast once a week promoting the Wednesday webinar. Do you think I should be sending more? Absolutely. You should be emailing your list every single day, Junie. Okay. I'll tell you on Wednesday webinar days. All right. On what I do is I send out 2 emails that day. Okay. I send out at 8 o'clock in the morning. I send out an email for my blog content. And then Wednesday night at about, sometimes I vary it between 7 and 7:30 in the evening. I send out the broadcast promoting the Wednesday webinar. And what we found is that people will jump onto a webinar quicker, or they're more likely to jump on a webinar when it is closer to the time that the webinar starts. So what you need to do is you need to be getting people excited about the webinar that's coming up. So what I would suggest you do is in a way of promoting for that webinar. You could, if you know ahead of time, like a couple of days, if you know who the featured speakers are, I would start creating content, whether it's Facebook Lives or blog posts, and you start teaching about that particular content. Now, I know Wednesday night they're going to be talking about Twitter training. So you could go in and you could be talking about for 3 days, give them pure value training, teaching them how to do stuff on Twitter. And then what you can say is, hey, are you ready? You know, tonight at this time, there's more great training on Twitter by 2 Twitter marketing experts that are going to show you how to do this, this, and this. Okay, so that's how, you know, so that's another big thing too to understand when you have, you know, you need to have a promotion calendar, and you need to write down when are the webinars, and you need to know who's going to be doing the webinars. If you don't know who's doing the webinars, that's fine. Then just keep being and, you know, sharing value, and then kind of do an off the hand one where you can say, hey, oh, by the way, if you love doing this particular marketing strategy, here's a training tonight, and you can point them to it. So does that answer your question, Junie? Okay, you know, you have to be consistent with your emails because people are getting a ton of emails today, but the email rates aren't opening. Okay, we talked about attention spans being so low. You know, the human attention span is 8 seconds. It's less than a goldfish. So if you're not emailing your list every single day, you're out of sight, out of mind. And you always want to be training people to be looking for their email. A lot of times they're going to be deleting everything. And if they know who you are and they know your email's coming, they're going to save it and they're going to open it and they're going to go and read your content. Okay, now I've got to hang up here because I just got a text from my hubby who says he is ready. I have to go pick him up because he starts his Thanksgiving vacation today. So I have to go pick him up, and then we are heading grocery shopping to get our the final food list done for our festivities on Thursday. I don't want to go tomorrow where I know it's going to be an absolute zoo. So with that said, everybody, thank you so much for watching today's episode of The Doctor Is In. And tune in tomorrow where we're going to talk about some more cool email tips.